All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. So, people are still talking about the Eric Clapton interview. I found another source that actually covered the interview. So that's two. None of the traditional classic rock outlets have picked up on the video, and there was a ton of stuff to talk about. I will get to this other site that I found that actually did a brief, and I mean brief, article about it. Before I get there, here are A Never Ending John's Dream. What the heck is that? Is that the worst name for a band? No. But when you start listening to this, you're going to understand the name makes sense. The album's called Coming Back to Paradise. This is just fantastic progressive rock, maybe like Asia, maybe like Yes, maybe like Saga. I don't know. I think it's got its own vibe, and it's just a fantastic album. A band from Barcelona, Spain. And I would definitely go heavy listening to this from start to finish. It is a concept album, and I'm just totally enamored by it. Yes. So go and check this out. One more time, people say, "What's the name of that?" And I say, you could rewind and listen again. And actually, you could freeze it right here. A Never Ending John's Dream, Coming Back to Paradise. All right. So speaking of paradise, I was in kind of a surreal paradise when I was interviewing Eric Clapton. It happens every time. I get this feeling of, really? I'm going to interview Eric Clapton again, right? And the first time I had butterflies that were the size of bats, okay? Because I often say, holy crap, Batman. The butterflies were related to Batman, right? This time, yeah, no problem, right? And we talked about a lot of things, and there was one media outlet that picked up on it. There was another gossip website called rockcelebrities.net that picked up on it. Eric Clapton reveals the title of expected 2024 studio album. By the way, if you want to hear this music on the radio, modern retro radio, modernretroradio.com. They play all the new stuff by Clapton. And you know what they do at that radio station is any classic artist that comes out with new stuff, they play it. It's amazing. It's kind of a throwback. So go check them out. Great people. They've supported me off and on now for a couple of years. They talk about me, which can be a dangerous thing, apparently. So here's the article written by Pete Francis. No comments on it. See, why have the comments on? You don't get any. I would get, you were the worst person in the world. I'd get the threats and stuff again. And it's, I still have people saying things to me. First of all, the comments on this channel have been off for a very long time. My best year was 2020. The fall of 2020, the comments at that time were off. Okay, they were off. And anyway, if you're on Patreon, you can learn the full story. I explain it all the time, and people just still push back and say, no, I don't know why you do this. And I do it for peace of mind. I do it so my phone doesn't ring at 2:00 in the morning telling me that all my information is out on the internet and pictures of my kids and stuff. So, oh, well, you're not the only one. Okay, well, doesn't mean I want to go in on that, right? So here's the article. In a new interview with a Real Music Observer, that would be me, Eric Clapton revealed details from his next album. I've been working on that with my partner Simon Climby for the last 3 years. Spoiler alert, I kind of knew. I didn't know the name of the album, but I knew that an album was coming. And it's called Meanwhile. It's a good name for an album. Meanwhile, back in the normal world where people don't want to take safe and effective products and they don't want to be told that they're not helping humanity. They need to get with the program, man. Nobody has even commented about the whole hey, remember when musicians used to be rebellious? I think we talked about Stephen Stills. I mean, that would have been a cool topic to get into. That's music related, right? For what it's worth. Neil Young. We were actually talking about Neil Young, which I think is just fantastic. Um, when asked about the release date, Clapton said probably in autumn, I think. Clapton said it would consist of all the songs we've already put out, like Heart of a Child, which is an amazing song. Uh, and really, that song is about the lockdowns and what it did psychologically. That's a deep song, Heart of a Child. It's not what you think. Pompous Fool, which should be dedicated to every politician, both here in the United States and certainly in the UK, right? In different places around the world. And all these sort of slightly political comments mixed up with songs that are just songs. Now, Eric and I, when we talk, he says, I don't like to just throw this stuff out there. He doesn't throw bombs like Roger Waters. He kind of throws firecrackers, and then you have to kind of unravel it to find out a little bit more. Anyway, prior to releasing Meanwhile, Clapton is set to release To Save a Child, an intimate live concert on CD, vinyl, and Blu-ray. That happens on July 12th. So get ready for that, you Clapton fans. And look, you could watch the interview below where Clapton discusses new album and other topics. Yes, indeedy. Now, I'm not really good at the whole thumbnail thing, but it is what it is, right? I mean, I'm pretty low tech, and I think that's my problem. Clapton is currently touring the UK and Europe. The 79-year-old will also tour South America, Mexico, and the United States in the fall. Not bad for a 79-year-old. He's doing good. Just came off doing all those shows at Royal Albert Hall, and fantastic. It's very interesting is the guy, this is true, the guy who started the conversation with Eric, who is in the audience, I believe either the first or second show, he reached out to me, and he became a patron on the channel, and he said, you're not going to believe who this is. And he told me, and I was just floored by that. So anyway, it was cool that he and Eric had a civil conversation, and it wasn't like heckling. It wasn't like a John Mellencamp show, thank God. So anyway, folks, I got a little media coverage here. The name of this website is called Blues Rock Review. So you can give them a little pat on the back. 0 comments. Came out 3 days ago. Doesn't have any comments. I don't know. Everybody tells me that you can't do videos and you can't write articles without having a comment section. Yet on this particular article, there are 0 comments. So anyway, folks, it is what it is, and I am who I am, and I'm just going to stick to what I do. My best year on this channel was 2020, and the comments at that time were off. Okay, they're off. I know I have a lot of people telling me I can't complain about the algorithm. This is the new one now, that I'm not allowed to complain. I'm not allowed to ask people to support the channel, even though everything is a grift these days. I'm not. This started as me in just doing videos in the backyard. And here I am now interviewing Eric Clapton. Does that make a lot of sense? Probably not, but I never expected it to go where it's gone. And so, yeah, if I want to ask people to support the channel, you want to see surprise interviews with people like Eric Clapton. I can't really top Clapton. People are saying maybe you can get Ringo. I don't know. I'll ask Eric and see if he knows Ringo, and then we'll go from there. I'm probably too controversial for Ringo, but I'm perfectly controversial for Eric. So that's how that works, right? Because a lot of these channels, they play it straight. They just talk about guitars and songs, and that's cool too. I love that stuff. But Eric, he's the one that took the conversation to Palestine. And of course, I let him go there. And I was never going to, people are like, how come you didn't challenge this or that? I'm like, what? No, it's Eric Clapton. He's on my show. That's a blessing. I mean, he's got opinions. I've got opinions. And what am I going to challenge him about? I mean, the narrative, if you're looking at the narrative isn't on his side for the most part. So again, it takes courage, whether you believe in what he believes or not, it takes courage to have that point of view. So good for him for having a point of view. Good for me for still, being allowed to interview him for some reason. He trusts me, and I'm grateful for that. Anyway, folks, before I go, again, if you can support this channel, whether the comments are on or off, the algorithm hasn't been my friend. And yeah, in the early days of this channel, before I became political, things were great, right? And I would get thousands of views on one video, and I didn't have as many subscribers. By the way, another little tidbit of information: subscribers through the roof because of the Clapton video right now. All the other metrics, other than revenue, have gone up quite a bit. Revenue has basically stayed the same. So again, if you're thinking this has to do with how the channel presents itself, that's only a small part of this. I believe that there are forces that are outside of my control. So again, folks, if you can help me, Patreon, YouTube memberships, and also buy me a coffee, which seems to be a big hit with a lot of people. Buy me a coffee. You can buy me more than one. I had one guy buy me 10 coffees. And I don't drink that much coffee in a day, but, I can spread it out over a week or two. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Before I leave, a never-ending John's Dream. This is great progressive rock from Barcelona, of all places. Coming Back to Paradise. This is a fantastic album. Go check it out. Great album cover, too. I always love album covers. I know people stream everything these days, but man, just to have a coaster in your collection, grab a coaster, tell your friends, hey, look, I listen to this, on Spotify, but I've got the album. What's cool is if you still have a CD player and a decent stereo, do it just for old time's sake. Just do it because you're a retro person and you want to celebrate the old days. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. God bless everyone. And, in honor of Eric Clapton, pray for peace in the Middle East. Don't pray for war. Nobody wins in a war. I'm sorry. War kills people, and that's bad. A ceasefire, a truce should happen, and that would be the best thing for everybody. And then let these guys figure it out. But don't wish for more war. War is hell. And we all know that. Some of us just don't want to accept that. And there's no winner. You can win a war, but you're going to kill a whole bunch of people in the process.